Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I'm a healer, and this is a reading where I bring through messages from Spirit, spiritual guidance that is intended to serve you, that is really intended to meet you where you are and to bring insight, inspiration, perspective, healing, whatever you're needing and whatever especially Spirit wants to share with you here and now today. Because this is going to be a longer reading. You might as well, or you might want to grab a cup of tea, get settled in, because Spirit has a lot to say on this topic. Whatever it is going to be, we're going to find out together. But there's definitely this message that wants to come in that talks about how it's going to apply differently for everybody watching. So it's very much about you gaining a sense of where this applies to. If you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't understand where this is going, then pause, take a moment, and really try to place it in your life. Try to place it in things that you are experiencing so that you can get the most out of the message. So that being said, let's go. We've got throat chakra. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this. I like this so much. We've got the frequency of the throat chakra. The blue flower of life supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. Yes, the throat chakra definitely has this energy of self-expression and communication. So that aspect is coming through loud and clear. But there's also an aspect of surrender. And what Spirit wants to talk to you about here and now today is offer spiritual guidance around things in your life that you need to say and that you haven't been saying and that you now need to surrender to saying. Because again, throat chakra is a center where we meet within ourselves the requirement of surrendering to the higher will. And I'm saying requirement because it's a very natural thing to do, to just align with the higher will of the universe. That's what all living things do. Trees do it, blades of grass do it, but we as humans have blocks and things that show up and experiences that teach us to not surrender to the higher will. So it's about something that the higher will would want you to say, to communicate, to put forward in the world, to express, to some degree to embody. And it requires surrender on your part to do that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm being guided to like the ancient scriptures, Job, for example, in the Bible, where God gave him a message to deliver and he didn't want to. And all of these things started happening in his life to prepare him to, essentially, to bring him to the point where he would deliver the message. So it's like that. Some of you are divine messengers. You have messages to share. And for some of you, you have messages to share with the world. You have messages to share with the community. Some of you, it's messages to share with your loved ones, with your partner, your children, your parents. There's something about Spirit having something to say through you, and it's very important because we have to remember, as Spirit would tell me, Spirit doesn't have a hand or an ear or a voice in this world. We are Spirit's hands and ears and voice by proxy, by extension. And so there's a part about surrendering to that role, to that space. So we've got drive, yeah. Ooh, Lord. Okay. And we've got protection. I love it. Okay. I don't know if some of you are not going to like me very much after this reading, but that's okay because that's my role. I just have to give the message as it comes. Drive is talking about how this has been showing up in your life, that you're feeling very driven to this. This is not something to say and something to express, something to share that is passing, that is fleeting. On the other hand, on the opposite hand, it is actually something that you have been feeling driven to share. For some of you, this drive is passion, which is beautiful. It's passion. It comes with a sense of purpose. There is an urge. It's the love within you, the spirit within you that wants to express itself in the world, and you are 100% on board with that. For others of you, this is drive where you are feeling almost haunted by this message, haunted by the circumstance, right? So for example, it's a message you would have in a certain circumstance, and then you just start seeing it show up everywhere. So for example, I'm getting the image of a loved one who's marrying someone and you have a big problem with it and very objective reasons why not. And you would want to say something and you're feeling called on to say something, but you're not. And then all of a sudden, everywhere you look, you're seeing those scenes in weddings when the priest asks, if does anyone object to this or not, or forever hold your peace, and your peace is not held. It like messes with your peace, the drive towards this, the calling, come on, come on, come on, do this, do this, do this, is messing with you. And for others of you, it's a very pleasant drive. It is intense, but it's a passion. It's something that you're willing to be driven into. So there's again that level. For some of you, it's to surrender into something you're unwilling to do. And then for others of you, it's to surrender into something that you are willing to do, but it's just intense. It's just a lot. Either way, there's a block. There is some form of resistance. With protection, you have really wonderful energy around this. You have divine protection, and you even have some kind of message about, how do I put this? It's in alignment with the divine will, and so you will be protected in situation and circumstance. Not necessarily the way that you think that you would want to be, but with this, it's almost like you get tossed up in the air, but Spirit is saying you will land on your feet. It will work out. You will come into also another realm. You as part of this unwillingness to surrender is trying to protect the position that you have, the relationship the way it is now, the way the circumstances are now, the position I have right now. But you know that to move into this is going to shift you. It's going to pick you up, move you around, and then land you in another position. And there is also the fear of that, and the resistance to shifting into that space and into that experience. However, ultimately, it is in alignment with divine energy. You will be protected in pursuing this. And yeah, that's all there is to that. Let's see. Oh, that's so funny. I'm just laughing because it's such a common issue. And I'm guided to tell you, when I did my theosis healing process in 2014, I did a whole year-long healing process. We moved through the chakras. And when I got to the third chakra, I actually had to do my third chakra twice. Because again, unwillingness to surrender, a lot of fear, but I remember it also as the most magical time, because what happened is, okay, so let me tell you the story. So I went and got my third chakra cleared, and every time we would do a chakra, all the issues and the energies of that chakra would get activated in my life. And so I all of a sudden left the keys inside, and then I left without money, and then but it still worked out. My sister happened to come home that day, and she opened the door for me. She wasn't supposed to be there, but it still worked out. I accidentally, lots of things happened, as you know, a lot of things, you get turned around a lot, lots of things happened, but I ended up basically having $2 to live off of for 2 weeks. And I could have asked for help and things like that, but I knew not to do that. I just went with the process, and it worked out. My friend took me to lunch that day. On our way home, the pizza guy stepped outside the pizza place and went, "I have an extra pizza. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that was dinner that day. And I took it day by day, and I went with the flow of it. And overall, everything worked out. It ended up being a really magical and an amazing period of my life. Now, I did have to repeat the healing because it didn't get done fully. But there was just something so timely, in the sense, like it's just like part of the era. Modern people have throat chakra issues. We just do. And again, not just in terms of communication and relationships and boundaries and what to say, what not to say, and now there's social media and all that stuff, but also in terms of learning the correct relationship to the divine, which is why I do what I do, right? Co-creative healing journey. There's here, this opportunity and the situation and circumstance is about so much more than A happening or B not happening. It is about you surrendering ultimately to spirit. That's what's at the core of it. As spirit would tell me, you don't surrender to a person, you don't surrender to a situation, you don't surrender to a circumstance. You surrender to the love in that person, to the love in the situation, to the love in the circumstance. And that's what you are being called on to do here. So love, we've got 5 of Cups. And I hope you guys did take that moment to locate this, to place this in a situation and circumstance in your life, because the messages coming are going to be a lot more impactful from that space. Then we've got the 3 of Wands. I mean, if you think about it, this is what I do, right? Because I just got reminded to tell you that again. So that's what I do. I surrender, for a living. That's my work. Nine of Cups. So you're also witnessing the surrender in the energy you're receiving from this reading. And then we got Two of Pentacles. And there it is, the shift and the upset. Okay. Five of Cups is talking about the perspective that you have right now, which is overwhelmingly a perspective of loss. Everything that could go wrong in this situation and circumstance. And it's also going off, for some of you, off a past experience where you tried to communicate this, you tried to express it, you tried to pursue it, you tried to share it. You surrendered in that sense, or at least had the experience that you did, the sense that you did, and it didn't go well. So there is a lingering of a past sense of failure. But with the Three of Wands, Spirit is asking you to look to the future, because you don't know it and you don't necessarily know why or how, especially. But this Three of Wands is talking about it being very different. What you have to look forward to in this situation and circumstance, following through with your surrender and answering this calling, is going to end in a much more optimistic way than it ever could have before. And that's the operative word, could have. If it didn't end well before, it just couldn't. There wasn't the energetic material, there wasn't the possibilities, there wasn't the potential, there wasn't maybe the potential was there, but there weren't the pieces. The pieces weren't moving in a right way. The puzzle wasn't set in a right way for it to fix itself, for it to unfold, for things to go the way that you wanted them to. It just wasn't there. But here and now, Three of Wands is also a card of expansion and big horizons. It's also a card of ships coming home. So in a sense, you could think of it that being without it in the past has allowed this energy, the situation, to unfold, to grow, to evolve, to expand in a way where your ship can now come home. The desire that you had, the calling, can now pay off, for lack of a better word, but it can now unfold in a way that is going to be Nine of Cups, very satisfactory. And for some of you, this is literally the core of it. So Nine of Cups is generally thought of as a card of wishes coming true. So for some of you, yes, your wish can come true. And this is also talking about how you have a wish in the situation, a way in which you would want it to be, and that can come true. Nine of Cups is also a card of self-satisfaction, making yourself happy. And for some of you, what's keeping you stuck from fully pursuing this, moving forward with it, surrendering to the situation, is that yes, you're going to be happy, but you want someone else to be happy. You want another person, an organization, a circumstance to unfold in a specific way. You want them to be happy. You want it to unfold, again, in alignment with a certain expectation. It feels very kind, and it feels very generous. It feels very actually expansive from you. However, there's not the divine intent for that. So what Spirit is saying is that, hey, I made this situation to make you happy. I didn't necessarily make it in this way to make the other person happy. I didn't necessarily make it in this way to please or to fulfill anything beyond our connection, what is between you and I. So in essence, like I was saying, some of you might not like me very much after this reading. That's fine. You're not supposed to. I'm supposed to give you the message. I'm not supposed to have you like me. I'm supposed to give you the message. It's like that. There is a way in which things are needing to unfold. And if you can make that shift, it's going to change everything in the situation and circumstance. You're going to find that there is some way, some level at which you're thinking about it, where you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to have it both ways. Let's both be happy. Let's find a win-win outcome. But a win-win outcome is not defined, again, by both people being happy. Spirit works according to the highest good of all. So the highest good of all will unfold if you follow the guidance, if you accept this surrender, if you move into it, right? If you follow this calling, the highest good of all will unfold. Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily look like the way that you want it to, or feel the way that you would want it to. It doesn't necessarily take you where you want to be. And that's okay, or rather that's understandable. But you have to understand that you holding on to that is keeping things stuck and increasing again the sense of it's not pressure, but it definitely is this energy of something really, really wanting to happen. So we're going to unpack this. Like I said, this was going to be a longer reading. I can see why. There's just so much kindness, and there's so much generosity, and there's so much goodwill from you, you know, really wanting everybody to have the best and wanting everything to be fulfilled, and you know, really wanting a kind of fullness to take place. But it's just a kind of misreading of what the situation is. Let's look. We've got the Chariot, Major Arcana number 7. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. Interesting. Reciprocity, right? We have got Major Arcana number 12, the Hangman. Again, that notion of something being stuck. And then we've got the 9 of Swords. You beating yourself up. It's almost like you're beating yourself up for having this calling. And you're beating yourself up, taking responsibility for something that's not you. What happens on the other side of you expressing what you have to express, you being who you have to be, you pursuing what you need to pursue, is none of your business. Even if someone takes it the wrong way or is hurt by it, it's none of your business. It's not your fault. You don't have responsibility there. And that's the 9 of Swords, where we can really put ourselves in a lot of pain, a lot of stress, a lot of anguish by taking responsibility for things that we are not responsible for. Responsible. We can't help, or even we can't make someone feel something, right? And I know it's a common expression, this made me feel like this. Well, that's very inaccurate. This happened and I felt like this because of my own patterns, because of my own stuff, because of my unfolding and my space and place and what's going on in me. It has nothing to do with the other person or anything outside of me. And it's the same way if you send it to that person, right? You can unfold, you can do your thing, you can make yourself happy without being responsible for how anyone else takes it or for how anything else unfolds. I'm seeing like broken eggs. You can make your omelet without being in anguish over having broken the eggs. That would be an example. So let's go back to the beginning. We have the Chariot here. Major Arcana energy, soul level energy showing up. And the Chariot, when the Chariot shows up, this is life goals. This is big life goals. And this is also coming in to say that this is a big calling, a soul level calling that you have. For better or for worse, there you go. In the light and the dark of it, this is your calling. This is your path. The Chariot, there's a path here. And this situation or circumstance, you moving through it is going to help you to ascend to the level of your path. You could think about it like, again, where spirit is trying to guide you, this is also in the mountain. So there's again that notion of elevation. There's a higher level reality here, and you're here. And the way in which you're going to access the higher level reality is to move in this situation and circumstance, to follow the calling. And that's also why spirit is pushing you and why it's coming up everywhere. And there's this pull and this push towards making this choice, pursuing this, moving in this into this surrender. It's because it is going to pay off for you, and it is going to pay off bigly. It is really, really, really going to pay off. And it's so funny because I just quoted Donald Trump, bigly. It's a word that I actually use quite a bit, and I really like it. And I like using the word because we have an expression where I'm from that says nothing is so bad it's not good for something. And Donald Trump in that instance at least gave us bigly. And there's a notion here. This situation is not so bad that it's not going to be incredibly rewarding for you. And again, you are very, very beautiful in your soul, in the energy that I'm getting from you, because that's not enough to entice you. It's not enough for you to say, well, just because I'm going to get something from it, I'm going to break those eggs. I actually thought it was a funny analogy because I'm vegan. So I would go like, I actually won't break the eggs to get the omelet. And in general, and in your life, this kind of holding back from pursuing your own happiness out of regard for the bigger picture of people, places, things in your life is admirable. But in this instance, it is holding you back. It is holding you back because it is coming from a place of brokenness inside of you. The hangman, again, soul level energy. There's a level of soul growth, soul evolution that you're not realizing in this situation and circumstance, moving on to what comes next because of these patterns. So you have a beautiful energy, you have a beautiful heart, but what Spirit is basically saying is that your resistance is not coming from the space of the grandeur of you. The space of the grandeur of you is the Chariot. Let's move forward. And the Chariot is an energy that always rises, never descends. Always rising, always rising. So your energy, the better part of you, the truer part of you, saying, let's rise, let's climb, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's ascend, let's take this higher. Bigger, better, truer, let's go. And there's an energy also of kind of a swiftness. And with the Chariot, I just realized, it's part of the reading, but the Chariot, the drive, the movement forward is very resolute drive. Let's go forward. There's no looking back. There's no turning back. And that's also part of the resistance is really how, what's the word? It would be the word of how unalterable this would be. It's something that you can't take back. It's something that you can't take back. If you say it, it's something you can't unsay. It's something you can't pretend not to have said. There's something just irremediable about it. Something also incontournable. You can't go around it. Wow, this word is eluding me. Something. Let's look at the cards. Maybe the cards want to say something. Let's see. The third chakra. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. I can feel it. I can actually feel it in my third chakra. And my thoughts started to get a little bit hazy. So let me breathe through this energy. What is it? What is it in the body? There's just this sense of... it's the Nine of Swords energy. I didn't finish speaking to this. You're making yourself out to be almost dumber than you are. Like you don't know what you know. You know what you know. You know what you have to say. You know what you have to do. You know where you have to go. This is not a reading to bring you clarity on what needs to be done. It's a reading about meeting inside of you what is keeping you from doing it, from pursuing it, from going there, from taking it there. And for some of you, hear it, feel it in your body. If this resonates, Spirit is saying you are not taking it there. They have taken you there. The situation has taken you there. And it's about you responding in that situation. You're not the bad guy here. And people may be telling you that you are. But actually, they've pushed you into a situation where now you need to respond. To some degree, for some of you, again, to protect yourself. But you're not the bad guy here by any means. By any means. So let's keep going. We've got Ace of Pentacles, new life on the other side. Something of value is going to come from this for sure. We've got Knight of Pentacles, something you can keep building on and keep moving forward with. Five of Pentacles, something that's been lacking. Again, that wasn't there before. And then we have the King of Wands. Okay. We'll get to that King of Wands. We have to build up the story first. And this is for some of you. This King of Wands is also why you're getting so much fight or pushback. People are afraid of you growing into the situation. You're into this position, into this state. Maybe, for some of you, there's a situation attended to it. I lead my own life. That's the King of Wands energy for me. So there's also resistance, inner and outer, into you growing into this King of Wands energy. Now I'm doing a lot of breath work, a lot of of kind of writing out this energy. It's very intense. Wow. You are not weak, you are not meek, you are not small to have been in this kind of energy and to be carrying this burden, right? To be carrying this weight. Let's put it that way. Ace of Pentacles, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. For some of you, it's a weight, but it doesn't need to be a burden. And that's also part of the message. It's a weight, but it doesn't have to be a burden. So let's carry on. We've got this Ace of Pentacles, which is beautiful. This is Spirit giving you something very, very valuable. And you may or may not see it. And we have here a portal. So this is, again, this message that if you do this, if you pursue this, you're going to get something very valuable out of it. There's going to be a valuable new beginning. And with the pentacles coming in, it's a new situation, a new circumstance. There's definitely going to be a change in the, how do I put this? There's going to be a change in the circumstances of your life, in the conditions of your life. So again, and we were talking about getting tossed up and you land somewhere else. You're landing somewhere new, but you're going to land somewhere valuable. And the difference may be that maybe if you do this, you're going to end up living on your own, living in another country. You're going to end up living, working in a different field, in a different space, in a different company. There, you might end up in a place where you're no longer in relationship with certain people, or you're starting new relationships, right? There is a change in the situation. There's a change in the circumstances, and change in your life and how you're going about it and what you're living and experiencing, but it's very valuable. And again, it's going to shift you into a space and a place that you have something to build on. So for example, let's say for some of you this was a relationship, right? And it could have been a relationship where you aren't getting very much, it's not really going anywhere. Then you shift into a relationship where you can build on it and you can build something great together. If you are shifting work and maybe you had a great position and now you're in an entry level position, which is also this kind of Ace of Pentacles energy with it, which is starting over, starting a new beginning, but it can also be starting over for some of you. Even if you do start over, it's something that you can build on in a way where you couldn't before. It's going to take work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take those small steps. And again, for some of you, this is not what you want to hear. And there's the kind of resenting the message. But that's the truth of it. And whatever opportunity you have to build and to grow and to evolve in this new space, you didn't have it before. And that's why you were always moving into this disappointment energy. This is lack. That's the emotion. That's the experience of it. Lack. This is realized scarcity with the Five of Pentacles. Lack and scarcity is not the same. You can have people in this world who lack access to water, who experience, a scarcity of water, of safety, of food, but who are abundant, right? Who still have a positive experience of themselves and of life. And then you can have this sense of lack even if you have material abundance, right? So it's the connection between the two. It's just that to some extent you need to realize that what was lacking in the situation, what you felt lacking in the situation, what you experienced as lacking in the situation was based upon an inherent scarcity. The person didn't have it to give. The company didn't have it to give. The possibility wasn't there. The means, the resources weren't there. It could also be like maybe a conversation you've been wanting to have and you just didn't have the words to say, or you didn't have the perspective, or you didn't have the arguments. But now it's different. Now you're in a different space and place. And if you own all of that and move through with it, you get to be a King of Wands, because you get to be empowered and you get to seize control of the energy of the situation and the circumstance to make happen what needs to happen, which, coming back to spirit, is fundamentally with the wands, it's the intention, the divine intention. And the divine intention for you, you seize that, you're in control of that, you live that out. In a more broad way, the King of Wands, again, for me, is this card: I lead the life that I want to lead. And this is you embodying that, empowering yourself to take your life where it needs to go without feeling hindered or limited by energies and dynamics and things outside of yourself. And this is King of Wands, yeah, so it is Leo energy. Mars in Leo, and Leo energy is heart-centered. It is heart-centered energy. What you love, what you value, what is most important to you. This is you answering that. This is you being true to that, above and beyond anything else or any other dynamics. And that is really the empowerment that is here for you, that is possible for you in this situation, and that spirit is seeking for you, wanting for you, engineering and orchestrating for you. So let's get you some advice. What does Spirit have as advice for you? And then we'll get some outcomes and do it a little bit like a pick card. Yep, okay. That was just so ready. At some point it was like, boom, I'm ready. I have advice. Let's look at what it is. We've got get grounded, empathy, highly sensitive, connect with nature. And we have got warrior woman. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? Well, now. Okay, let's start with you. We've got get grounded because I want you to see this image. There are so many levels here. So many levels to unpack. So again, really feel in your body what is speaking to you and what is therefore going to be more relevant to you. There's an aspect of empathy here and of mixed energies. And so a lot of you are picking up the energies of people, places, things, of external circumstances, and it's affecting your perspective. So it's very important for you to get grounded, to clear out your energy, and to be very aware of what is yours and what is not yours. Let me give you an example. I have been having so much trouble with my neighbors and their dog barking and just all manner of noise coming from their yard. It has been just surreal some days, right? And so the other day I tuned into the fact that actually it wasn't just my irritation. It's like their own irritation with the noise from their dog and their children, for example. And so I was actually picking up on their irritation and adding it to my own, because they're in the situation where they can actually do something about it and they're not for whatever reasons. But then that energy that they can't hold, it just is kind of loose in the air. It's in the situation between us. And so I was carrying it because I can actually. And again, and it resonated so much to my own that I wasn't realizing how I was reacting in a completely excessive way to it. It was filling up so much more of my life and my experience and my moments than it needed to. Let me put it that way. It just wasn't like me, but I didn't really realize it. And there's this message here. The way in which you're relating to the situation is inherently tainted by taking on other people's things, your own patterns. And so there's a need for you to pause, get yourself centered, get yourself in a good place, in a good headspace. For some of you, this is physical rest. For some of you, this is mental rest. For some of you, this is taking a break from the situation, from the person, just giving yourself some space to ground, to settle, and to reconnect with your own feelings, your own emotions, your own thoughts in the situation and the circumstance. It's very important. For some of you, we're talking about getting pulled up by passion, and it's almost like you're several steps ahead of yourself. There's a need to come back, take a step back, rewind, come back to center. And the same thing, ground and become very aware. Be very, very clear with yourself. What do I want in the situation? Where do I see this going? Where do I need this to be going? What do I want? What do I need? What do I deserve in this situation? And deservedness is very much about what serves us, right? So what would I be served by in this situation? What do I deserve to have happen in this situation? Get very clear on these things. Again, what I want, what I need, what I deserve. Where do I want this to go? How do I want this to unfold? And this is not a guarantee that it will. It's not about control. It is about awareness, to be very clear with yourself before anything else. And then we've got warrior woman. Look at that sword. Sword of truth. You're holding the sword of truth. Once again, in this situation and circumstance, you have let me check before I say something, because that's a big statement to make. Yeah, you have the moral high ground. You have the moral high ground. You have the higher perspective. You have the truth. You are the holder of truth in this situation and circumstance. And people may be gaslighting you, or again, for various reasons, you can't see it. But it is about you not being afraid of the truth that you know. You know what you know. Let yourself know it. Let yourself own it. And let this truth speak to you before you even think about speaking it out or carrying on, right? What does it mean? And very often it's the same thing. We can get carried away. Well, if this is true, then I have to do this and I have to do that and da da da. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. If this is true, it must mean that this is maybe not. Maybe not. It's just about knowing the truth first. What really is the truth? What is the truth? What is assumptions? What is perspectives? Again, Spirit is saying you are the holder of truth, but you need to clear out any kind of cobwebs, any kind of distortions, so that you know what the truth is and what you are holding. Right? You're holding it. You have to know what it is that you're holding. And there you are going to know also very naturally. It's going to unfold. You're going to know what to say. You're going to know what to communicate. You're going to know what to pursue. You're going to know how to surrender into the truth of the situation that you are in. These two cards together are saying you're in it. And that was the message also from this card. You're in it. And it's about get grounded and warrior woman. Together, they're talking about a reality check. So check myself in the situation, check what the truth is, but also check yourself to know that this is real. It really is happening. It's not going to go away, and it requires something from you. And it requires something from you in a way that as you move into it, you're going to come out on the other side of it all the better for it, and certainly a lot more empowered. And you have promise of divine protection, support, and guidance every single step of the way. That's why you're seeing signs everywhere. That's why it keeps coming up, because every single step of the way, Spirit is with you. And you are closer to the answer today than you were yesterday. And you're closer to the answer, hopefully, after this reading. Sorry, that was not the space for it. You're closer to the answer after this reading, and you'll be closer after the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because again, step by step by step by step, Spirit is going to be with you. So love, I have here some cards, and I'm going to draw 3 cards, and they're going to be basically an outcome reading. And there are 3 options. You can pick one or more. And they're going to tell you what's on the other side for you in this. Pursuing this, speaking this, sharing this. Where is it all going to take you? Spirit wanted to include that in the reading. So we are. We have number 1, we've got number 2, and we've got number 3. So take a moment, pause, whatever you need to do to choose. And I will give you your messages. And you can look at the little bar, and I will have set a stamp for each answer, right? So you can skip ahead if you need to. So for those of you who chose the first answer, we've got shifting. Beautiful. And shifting is a card that talks about movement, and it talks about things coming into focus little by little as you're moving, as you're going towards the outcome. It becomes itself, right? Like the card gets closer and closer, and you can see shapes, and you can see things that you couldn't see before. Things that are kind of murky now, but at some point they come into focus and you can see them. And that's the message here for you, is that the outcome is one that is going to be progressive. It's going to unfold as you go. You're going to co-create it as you go. So the message here, and part of that empowerment that you're going to gain, is that you're going to have a lot of leeway in shaping and molding how things are going to look on the other side, what you're going to get out of it. But it's not something that you can see straight away from the onset. And Spirit can't tell you it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. What Spirit can tell you is that if you follow this calling, if you share this, communicate, if you follow through, if you surrender, then things are going to change. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get out of being stuck. You're going to get that movement. You're going to get that progress. And you're going to have the ability to shape and mold the outcome as you go. And have that be something incredibly empowering for you. So the contrast would be having been stuck in a situation, position that you didn't want to be in for too long. And now getting the movement to move on, move forward. And getting influence in what comes next. Where you didn't have influence before and feeling very powerless, you'll feel empowered by having influence to decide what comes next and what the next stage looks like and how you feel and how you do in that stage. So if that was your message, let's look at number 2. We've got vibrational, beautiful. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is going to shift your energy in a massive, massive way. This cannot be understated. When you read this card, it talks about being an energetic powerhouse. This is going to make you into an energetic powerhouse. And there are things like that. There are things that are like existential choices and possibilities, and it can seem like a small change, and that's what basically spirit is saying. It can seem like a small situation, it can seem like a small thing that you need to do, it can seem like something that is smaller than this outcome, but it definitely is going to lead you to a big shift in your energy and a big shift in your reality. This is really talking again about that thing we were talking about, how spirit is trying to help you move to a higher level of reality. In your case, it is highlighting that the outcome is going to be that vibrational shift. It's something when you look at this card, it talks about how there is this influence of our energy and how it affects everything around us. And this is a change. This is a choice and a change that is going to shift your energy in such a potent way that it really is going to affect every single area of your life. Nothing will be left untouched by you pursuing this. And again, for some of you, it's deceptively small. It can seem deceptively small, but energetically, this is a big deal that you're going to be able to leverage into tremendous personal and earthly growth, evolution, and expansion. Wow. All right, love, those are your messages. And now for those of you who chose the third one, we've got love. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. You're going to heal some very deep wounds surrounding you and your nature. And again, that I've talked about so many times, I was referencing so many times how kind you are, how good-hearted you are. There's an energy here of having been taken advantage of by people, but also institutions, dynamics, modern life. There's just an energy of having been, as the expression goes, done wrong. And this is you healing from that, and in a way that's very empowering. This really is a card that talks about how there's being at odds in your energy with the people, places, things, and around you in life. And again, feeling the wound of that. I said at some point that it might even be a burden for you. And so there's a healing and uplifting where you drop that burden, you heal those wounds, and you come out on the other side having a completely different ability to relate to other people, to relate to the same kind of institutions, industries, dynamics, whatever it is, wherever your wounding has arisen, and whatever we've been talking about in this reading for you, on the other side of this is an experience of the same kind of people, dynamic situations, but from such a much more uplifted space, because you're going to be so much more healed within you. So those were your messages. And so now everyone should be here, back. Let us, ooh. Well, there. I guess those really wanted to come out. So we have got loyalty, right side up, and yeah, and evolution, right side up. Actually, wait, because they came out this, sorry, loyalty was upside down. There you go. Loyalty, your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. Oh, I love this. Oh my God, this is again that message of being loyal. And I feel like this is so much what you want to be in the situation. You want to be loyal to everybody else. And the takeaway is you can be that after you're loyal to yourself. Again, is the card right side up? Because when I read this card and they're right side up, it's about ourselves. When they're upside down, it's about ourselves. When they're right side up, it's about people, places, things in our lives. You can be loyal to others. Start by being loyal to yourself. And you're never going to be fully loyal to others unless you're being loyal to yourself also. And then we have evolution, and evolution says you realize that obstacles are merely lessons on your path to love. Yes. And Spirit wanting to remind you, and both of these come out green with the heart energy, saying that, listen, actually it's not the heart energy, it's the color that activates the heart. Green is the color that activates the heart. So there's going to be a lot of growth and evolution at the level of your heart, where you understand that where you've been and what you've experienced in this situation is not how it's going to be always. They are lessons on your path to love. There's so much more love, more passion, more creativity, more openness. There's so much more ahead of you than there has been behind you and in this situation and in the stuckness of it. Things can evolve, and however they evolve, you're going to expand into a much more loving experience of yourself, of the situation, of the circumstance, of the other person. And when we're talking about love, lessons on the path to love, forgiveness, compassion, trust, openness, of course, surrender. There's so much that you can learn in this situation as you journey with the chariot, as you move forward into bigger, better, truer, into what Spirit is intending for you, that higher level of reality that Spirit is intending for you. And that you are absolutely on the path to having. This is why this situation, circumstance, dynamic is showing up. It's in your life for a reason. And it's about you co-creating what that reason is with the choices and the approach that you take on from here on out. So love, that was your reading. Thank you so much for watching. This was so interesting, so exciting. I could see why Spirit would want to go into depth with this. This is not easy by any means. I'm wishing you all the best with this. I really hope that this reading served you. Drop me a line, because I would love to hear how it was showing up in your life. I got so many different scenarios and ways in which this could be relevant. So let me know. I would really appreciate that. Sending you lots of love, wishing you all the best. And of course, if you do want intuitive work, I do, if you want to go deeper with it, I do offer intuitive readings. I also have created some awesome energy work that is on a whole range from daily energy clearing to all the way into, wow, that's a calling for me. I haven't created the daily energy clearing yet, but you know what? When this video is posted, I might have. Okay. What's that? That's a last message. Yeah, I've wanted to create a daily energy clearing for a long, long time. I think it's so important. I think it's so, what's the word? Primary, necessary. It's a calling of mine. And we're talking about callings here, surrendering to the calling. I feel like there's a last message that Spirit wants to get in with that. What is it? Daily energy clearing. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Yeah, okay. You can clear this from your life. This is why it's coming. It's for you to clear this. It's for you to move into bigger, better, and truer. That's what Spirit wants for you. You can do this. Again, daily energy clearing. It's been on my plate. Actually, I think I did the first one that I used to use myself 7 years ago. 6-7 years ago. So yeah, this is a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. It's time to do this. It's time to move forward with this. And you are in such a good position to do this, better than you could possibly imagine, and the best position you could ever be in, because this is willed by the universe. You have divine will on your side, and that is as good as it gets. I was looking where to end the reading. This is where it wants to end. Sending you lots of love, wishing you all the best, and may you be blessed always and in always, and I'll be seeing you around. Bye, love.